For years, MrBeast has captivated millions with jaw-dropping acts of generosity and extreme challenges. But now, the integrity of those viral videos is being called into question. Former employees are stepping forward, alleging that the videos you love are nothing more than carefully scripted productions. Could MrBeast's empire be built on falsehoods? This is the Untold Allegations Against MrBeast. Accusation 1: Inhumane conditions in Beast games. The Beast Games, hyped as MrBeast's biggest project yet, was supposed to be a thrilling competition where 2,000 contestants battled for a $5 million prize. But what really happened on set? Contestants are coming forward exposing the dangerous, chaotic conditions they faced, turning what was supposed to be an epic game into something closer to a nightmare. Imagine signing up for an intense challenge, only to be deprived of food for nearly 20 hours, given scraps like a tiny portion of oatmeal or a hard-boiled egg. Some contestants described it as more of a survival test than a competition, and it didn't stop there. Essential medications were withheld, with some participants waiting hours for life-saving treatments like insulin. One contestant was left without food to take their medication properly. Things got worse when people started collapsing. Contestants fainted, vomited, and were even carried off set on stretchers. Others described being completely ignored after repeatedly asking for help. The games turned into a battle not just for the prize, but for basic survival. Behind the smiles and stunts, it seems like Beast Games wasn't just a fun competition. It was a brutal ordeal that left some contestants feeling more like pawns in a twisted reality show than players in a fair competition. How far is MrBeast willing to go for views? Accusation number 2: Allegations of staged charity work and shady practices. As MrBeast's popularity skyrocketed, so too did his reputation as a philanthropic icon, a content creator who seemed to give endlessly to those in need. From curing blindness to building wells, his charity work became central to his brand, but recent allegations have cast a shadow over the sincerity of these seemingly noble deeds. Former contestants, investigative YouTubers, and even onlookers from Nepal have started to question just how much of MrBeast's philanthropy is genuine. Rosanna Pansino, a former MrBeast collaborator, and other critics have come forward with troubling claims. One of the most damning involves MrBeast allegedly exaggerating or outright fabricating parts of his charity projects. In one example, MrBeast presented a video where he claimed to build a hospital on a remote mountaintop in Nepal, a feat, if true, that would have been monumental. However, sharp-eyed viewers and critics noticed something strange. The before and after footage seemed too perfect. Upon closer inspection, it was discovered that the building's original structure was digitally erased from the before footage to make it look like MrBeast and his team had constructed it from scratch. The truth? While MrBeast's team installed solar panels on the hospital, the structure itself was built by the Nepali government long before MrBeast ever arrived. The idea that CGI was used to paint a more dramatic transformation is particularly troubling for a creator whose entire persona is built around transparency and generosity. To exaggerate charity work like this doesn't just mislead his audience. It takes attention and funds away from other legitimate organizations that truly do build hospitals from the ground up. This isn't the only instance. Allegedly, similar tactics were employed when showcasing a revitalized town where MrBeast had purportedly renovated homes. Critics highlighted how certain elements of the footage, such as the water tank and flowers, appeared artificially enhanced. Once again, it seemed like MrBeast's team had manipulated the visuals to make the town appear worse than it was before and more transformed after their intervention. So, where do we draw the line between reality and a polished YouTube story? How much of what we see in these videos is crafted for entertainment, and how much is an honest depiction of his charitable efforts? More importantly, if MrBeast's charity work isn't entirely genuine, how can his viewers, or the peoples whose lives he's supposedly changing, ever fully trust him again? Accusation number 3: Crypto controversy and alleged market manipulation. MrBeast's philanthropy isn't the only thing under scrutiny. New allegations have surfaced suggesting that he may be involved in shady cryptocurrency practices. Market manipulation, a term usually reserved for Wall Street scandals, is now being linked to the YouTube giant. According to reports, MrBeast, along with other influencers like Logan Paul and Gary Vee, participated in coordinated crypto investments, artificially inflating the value of digital assets like NFTs, non-fungible tokens, before selling them for massive profits, a practice known as a pump and dump. In one instance, MrBeast appeared on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, where he casually admitted to participating in a call with high-profile investors.
I know you're big into crypto.
Yeah, crypto's been killing it, man.
Especially for you.
Agreed. I mean, you've been doing pretty well as well.
They were instructed to buy a particular set of NFTs, which, according to Gary Vee, were about to skyrocket in value. MrBeast's account of the event paints a picture of a coordinated effort where the small group of wealthy individuals could manipulate the market with their influence. And sure enough, the value of these NFTs soared after the purchase, only to plummet once they cashed out, leaving everyday investors holding the bag. For a creator who claims to reinvest all his earnings into making more content and helping others, the fact that MrBeast has millions tied up in such risky ventures paints a very different picture. Is MrBeast truly the selfish philanthropist he portrays, or is he another influencer using his platform to profit off the hype, no matter who gets hurt in the process? Accusation number 4, the dark side of the MrBeast empire, employee misconduct and abuse. While the public has been dazzled by MrBeast's grand gestures of charity, behind the scenes, his empire has reportedly been less idyllic. Former employees have come forward to describe a toxic work environment rife with verbal abuse, misconduct, and manipulation. Dawson, the YouTuber behind the explosive Dogpack 404 channel, was one of the first to peel back the curtain on what he describes as a chaotic and abusive workplace. Several ex-employees, including editors and production staff, have alleged that MrBeast's right-hand men, CEO James Warren and COO LaCoy Hill, engaged in inappropriate and even illegal behavior. The most serious allegation involves Hill, who was accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a former assistant. The assistant claims that Hill used a date rape drug to incapacitate her, rendering any possible consent meaningless. Despite an internal investigation at MrBeast's company that ruled the incident as consensual, the assistant and other employees have maintained that the environment was hostile and unsafe. Dawson's exposés have also highlighted a pattern of emotional abuse within the workplace. Staff reportedly endured constant beratement, with some claiming that MrBeast himself would hurl phones at employees in fits of rage. And yet, instead of facing consequences, high-level executives like Hill were simply reassigned to other positions within MrBeast's vast network, leaving victims feeling betrayed and silenced. As Dawson's videos began to gain traction, MrBeast responded not with an apology or statement, but with legal threats. The YouTuber, who once prided himself on transparency, was now using cease and desist orders to stifle criticism. But despite MrBeast's attempts to quash these stories, the allegations keep coming, and more former employees are speaking out, eager for their voices to be heard. What does this all mean for MrBeast's legacy? With so many allegations swirling around him, the question now is, can MrBeast's empire survive? His massive following and philanthropic image once seemed unshakable, but as these accusations of fake charity work, crypto manipulation, and abusive workplace practices pile up, his carefully crafted persona is starting to crack. MrBeast built his empire on the promise of doing good work in the world, but if these accusations are proven true, it seems that the world he's created might not be as generous or as honest as it appears. Will MrBeast come forward with an explanation or apology? Or will his empire, like so many other influencers before him, collapse under the weight of its own contradictions? Only time will tell. The revelations from Beast Games raise serious questions. How far is too far for entertainment? If you want to stay in the loop on this and more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. What do you think? Has MrBeast crossed the line? Let us know in the comments.